Well, the first big sports game of 2017 is just getting ready to ramp up for its marketing campaign. It's the follow-up to the 2016 Sports Game of the Year, that is, at least according to the panel of experts on this very Press Row podcast, as well as the Pasta Padre community. With just over 2 months until release, some major new details on MLB The Show 17 have been unveiled. And we're going to discuss the features and improvements that are now known, what it could mean for the game, and what the hopes are for changes beyond them. Welcome to this episode of the Press Row Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Weedeye, Pasta Padre, and I've got two experts on MLB The Show here. First, it's TJ Lauerman, a.k.a. That Sports Gamer, who hosts a weekly show on the game called Bullpen Banter. I believe that's every Monday night. And Chris, a.k.a. Millennium OS, is also here representing Operation Sports. He's also a frequent guest on both Bullpen Banter and this Press Row podcast. TJ, it feels like it's been a while since you've been on. Are you still playing MLB The Show 16 at this point of the year, like 10 months in?
Look, do you really want to know if I have MLB The Show 16 up right now and I'm just happening to look at the command mission for the Phillies? I mean, possibly. I can neither confirm nor deny that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, still playing it, still loving it. I feel like, though, I am almost ready to get to that point where it's like, you know, maybe I'm going to take a couple weeks off, stretch my legs, and then get ready for MLB 17.
Is this unusual for you, Chris? I imagine you're still playing the game. Is it unusual after 10 months to still be kind of dedicated to firing up the game so often as you might be now?
It's unusual to the extent that I'm playing it. Normally I have a franchise going to where I play it, once or twice a week, but I'm currently playing MLB The Show like 4 or 5 days a week in terms of franchise and also Diamond Dynasty. This is the first year that I've been playing Diamond Dynasty this late into the season as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's unusual for me to have the amount of MLB The Show that I'm playing, especially with the sports gaming calendar that we've talked about multiple times. How much is out right now. But 10 months in for any sports game to be playing it 4 to 5 days a week is an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who tend to lose interest with the sports game after its respective league is finished for the season. So that was a bit extended by Diamond Dynasty this year, or with MLB 16. And that was, for me, unusual because that was really the first kind of team-building mode that I had gotten hooked on. And I could see why. I've talked about it over the years, but I could see why that keeps people's interest over the long haul. That's where they're making their money, their digital revenue, and it's keeping people interested beyond a season because you're not reliant on the rosters that may be outdated or reliant on teams that disappointed you months before. So it definitely kept me engaged longer, although other games started to get in the way. And now I'm more just ready to move on. I mean, how would you say they've done with Diamond Dynasty in these months where typically people wouldn't be paying much attention to the show, TJ?
It's actually very interesting because during the regular season, we had all the stuff coming out with the live players getting their upgrades every day. And all that. And now with the offseason, we don't have that anymore. So they've been releasing a lot of content that doesn't have like the greatest stats, but because they're no longer going up against cards that are changing every day to be like super cards, it feels like they're putting out good stuff that you can still use for the majority of the time.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think has been the impact on it being outside of the season? Because Inside Edge, to me, that was one of the biggest reasons why I like Diamond Dynasty, because I felt that it made this team-building mode, which is so intimidating to a lot of people and so overwhelming in a way, and also tends to favor people who spend money. It gave everybody else an in on the mode and a chance to really get involved with it without having to put in hundreds of hours or hundreds of dollars to get the best team, because you could get a player who on that day was boosted and actually maybe more valuable than some of those other cards. But we've lost that with the season. So are they doing a pretty decent job as far as giving people interesting things to do at this point of the year and making it easy enough that they'll continue playing?
I think they are, especially since September. They've really amped up how many cards get released. Not all of them are cards that can be used in quote unquote end game for Diamond Dynasty, but they've gone to the point where if you have a card like Sean Doolittle closer flashback was just released, and people liked it because of the card art. The card art, he has a shirt on that says the A's run the West or something. It's just a cool card art. People are actually collecting cards almost like actual baseball cards at this point as well. But the other part of Inside Edge that I think is unique is it gives people that aren't Diamond Dynasty aficionados, like you said, a link to players. Like if somebody's really hot in real life and they play for your team, you have that link to know that they're that much better in the game right then too. I think that gives you it makes you want to use that guy even though they might not be the best at that position.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of these modes here have really done a great job of almost teaching you or helping you discover players or teams, mostly players, outside of your circle. Like baseball is very, very much about your team, and then for most fans anyway, it's about your team, and maybe you don't even see much of the other teams around the league except for when your team is playing them. It's not like NFL where the majority of fans watch pretty much every NFL game they can. Baseball, you tend to watch your team. So I think what Diamond Dynasty has done is, to help you discover other players, what they're good at. You learn a lot about the league that way, and I think that's pretty cool. So let's transition into some of the new stuff we found out. This is pretty exciting. These are high-level features, high-level improvements. We don't know the specifics on the majority of them yet. We can speculate as to what they mean, and we got nothing else to talk about in January. It's been months since we had our last major sports game release, and we're just excited to get something new, get going on the new year, and so MLB The Show 17 has helped us with that. We already had talked about the retro mode, so we won't really go into that much maybe, but a lot of stuff here to hit on, so let's get right to it with gameplay. Now, gameplay is the first thing they're going to dive into beginning on, it looks like February 7th, new features, improvements in a video blog, and then they're going to do a live stream showing off a bunch of those elements on the 9th of February. So what they list out here is new ball physics, which I believe we saw some of in the first trailer for the game that came out last month, I believe. Something called Humanity AI, cat and mouse gameplay, an all-new catch and throw engine, and that's just the beginning of what they're going to be getting into. So, TJ, what stands out to you there gameplay-wise?
Of all of those, I feel like the catch and throw engine intrigues me, because I feel like there was a lot of feedback this year that guys were getting like bad animations and stuff. So I wonder if that's what that's going to cover, because that would be big. Because we had a lot of problems where, guys who don't have the strongest arm, they're still not throwing out like slow guys just because they're catching a bad animation when it really shouldn't happen.
Right, they're like
so I'm really hoping that's what that is.
Yeah. That's the first thing I thought too, TJ, when I looked at catch and throw engine. I'm hoping that applies to those slow animations that cost you outs, that made so many innings, 4 or 5 out innings that we got frustrated over. We talked about in various shows last year.
Yeah, like Kyle Seager was not a bad shortstop to start the year, but he was almost unusable because not only did he not have like the best arm, but he was just having a lot of problems doing the animation from getting the ball to making the throw. So hopefully that clears that up.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, for this, the Humanity AI stands out as a franchise gamer because there's two sports where like your personality really stands out when you watch it on TV, and that's basketball and baseball. When a guy pumps his fist on the mound, or when a guy breaks his bat over his knee, like that, gives you like a look into his psyche. So they already had last year what was called the Human IK engine, which started a little bit of that with some of the motion captures with that. But Humanity AI sounds like we might start getting more emotion out of the players. Like I said, we got a little bit of it last year, but maybe a larger like anger joy, like instead of having canned animations, maybe actually having working animations instead of canned ones. Almost like NBA 2K. When a guy scores in NBA 2K, one of the cool things we see is, he's barking at like the referee or barking at like the other players or like dancing back down the floor. I'd love to see something like that in MLB, and that's why that humanity AI stands out a little bit for me.
I just wonder if that's going to be just a visual thing or if maybe that will also affect the gameplay somehow. Like maybe you get fooled on a curveball like real bad and you're upset with yourself. So like your contact takes like a small dip for the next couple pitches. That kind of stuff would also be interesting if they could put that in somehow.
Well, and that would come straight from, Super Mega Baseball does something exactly like that, right? With the ego.
Yep, you can get heated.
Yeah, you get heated or you get like nervous or something. And that's something Super Mega Baseball does really well in terms of performance based on situation that MLB The Show could take straight from that.
Yeah, it's funny. We can look at a game like Super Mega Baseball and say, what can the show take from it? But it's true. It's one of the reasons why I'm always so disappointed we don't have the more arcade-style games, because there are a lot of ideas that come out of those games that then transfer over and work well in a sim game at the same time. When I saw Humanity AI, I thought it was probably just going to be a weird name for all their AI improvements. Which would not be necessarily unusual for how they tend to describe features when they release them. They want to fit them all under one name. But you guys might be onto something with that, especially when we look towards a little later in the show what they have in store for franchise mode, and there's one thing that could probably fit under that too. Any guesses on the cat and mouse gameplay, what they could be referring to there?
Pickoffs right now are kind of, I don't know, boring. Like if the guy goes one extra step, then you have a chance at him, but if he doesn't ever move. So this could be maybe something not just pickoff specific, but there's a lot of cat and mouse things in baseball. Like TJ said, you throw a curveball and you buckle a guy's knees. Maybe there is more of that involved of, picking a pitch, the right pitch at the right time. Instead of, setting guys up. Maybe that's more brought to the forefront because it's already built into the game to a point. Maybe that's brought to the forefront and more of a teaching tool to show that.
Anything not listed there? Obviously, there's a ton, TJ, that could be there and we don't know about yet. But other than bunting, which we've talked about quite a bit over many years, is there anything you'd like to see gameplay-wise, or you hope to see when they lay out all their improvements in February?
Not really. As you said, bunting's the thing. Millennium is a professional featherer of the joystick. With the outfield, I would like it a little bit easier if my guy makes it to where the ball is. Just have him catch it. I mean, it's a novel idea to just have him catch it, but maybe that could be a little bit more simplified. Yeah, like Millennium said, if they can figure out a real good way to make the pitcher base runner interactions a little more interesting, I think that would be nice.
Yeah. Is there ever a reason to take an extra step off the base as a base stealer because you're going to get thrown out every time? Like, I just stopped doing it.
It does provide a better jump, a significantly better jump this year. That was altered in 16. But yeah, it also significantly upgrades the risk of you getting picked off. So
yeah, that was irritating.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to promote this. We started a Bullpen Banter Discord server. We've been chatting about this.
Oh.
This kind of stuff. And one of the conversations one day is like, if a guy takes that extra, like when you're playing online, if a guy takes that extra step, I'm just going to throw over every time.
Every time.
So, I don't know. Maybe if they could add like a half step, that would be even interesting. Or like maybe players have variable lengths would be.
Or at least be some way to pay attention so you can actually get back to the bag instead of just standing there for half a second before the guy reacts. I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. That cat, when you mentioned that in the cat and mouse Millennium, I was like, oh, yeah. They need to do something with that, I think.
Well, I think the other thing I'd like to see is like a chemistry almost. And I'm going to take this straight from like NBA. And I don't know if this would go under franchise or like specific modes, but like a catcher batter I'm not sorry, catcher pitcher battery, almost like a chemistry there, or like a double play chemistry.
Well, that's a good thing to bring up because you hear about pitchers that have certain catchers that always work with them, right? Even
Right,
some
exactly.
of the best, even some of the best pitchers in the league have their personal catcher who maybe isn't the best on the team, but works with them best behind the plate.
Yeah, I could see them definitely adding that into like franchise, because we saw them add what was that stuff where guys were just happier depending on like if there are guys from their country on their team or guys that grew up in the same state as them. So I could see that being like an evolution of that stuff they added last year.
Well, the other thing is NBA 2K does an amazing job with my team. They have dynamic duos where they make connections of guys that either played together in college or were friends outside. Like they had their own custom stuff. And that was in their card collecting mode. So maybe that could even be brought over to Diamond Dynasty. Would be cool.
Yeah, and that's something FIFA does too, where if you have guys that play in the same league or from the same team, they both boost each other a little bit.
Hey everybody, we're going to take just a moment here to thank our sponsors of this week's show, Blue Apron. I am so excited that Blue Apron is a sponsor because I am a customer of Blue Apron. I was a customer before they sponsored this show, and I'm a customer because they're really good. So here's what Blue Apron does. It's just brilliant. They deliver a set of meals to your door that are not prepared meals, but they give you everything that you need to cook the meal down to the precise amount of each ingredient. They make it easy. They make it fun. It tastes great. There's an incredible range of meals that you get to choose from, and they just do a fantastic job. I cannot recommend it enough. So here's what they do. Really, they have two major impacts, which are great. Not only is the food fantastic, but they have a really positive impact on households because research shows that Blue Apron families that cook together nearly 3 times more often, and we all know that cooking together as a family builds strong family bonds. My wife and my son and I, it's kind of cool to get in the kitchen. My wife is a cook. I am not, but Blue Apron has made it certainly what it used to be kind of traumatic to get in there and try to help out. If you're not a cook and you're in the kitchen with someone who is a cook, boy, that can be tough. But using the Blue Apron process, it's actually the opposite way. And my son, who's 9, has had a blast helping us out with it. So that's cool. Plus, they also have a positive impact on the community. Their seafood is sourced sustainably under standards developed in partnership with the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch. Their beef is raised humanely. Their chickens are free range. Their pork is raised naturally. They have regenerative farming practices used for their produce. And Blue Apron can be delivered to 99% of the continental U.S. and 99.5% of food deserts. So, because Blue Apron ships the exact amount of each ingredient required for a recipe, they're also reducing food waste. Now, that's all great, but the food also is terrific. For example, check out some of the meals that are available in January. You can get seared pork chops with farro and cranberry chutney. You can get spaghetti squash and marinara with mushrooms and garlic knots. You get some spicy shrimp and Korean rice cakes with cabbage and furikake. I mean, this is good stuff. It tastes great, and it's fun to put together. And by the way, you're not going to be in the kitchen for an hour and a half putting all this stuff together. It's really well put together. They make it easy to understand what to do. It's like a half an hour, top to bottom, most of the time. At least it has been for us. And it's, again, they give you the exact amount of each ingredient for the recipe. So even better than all of that is that you can help support the Press Row Podcast, one of your favorite shows. If you go to blueapron.com/pressrow, not only will you be able to help us out by doing that, but you get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping. You cannot beat that. 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/pressrow. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/pressrow. Help yourself and help the Press Row Podcast and have a little fun cooking some great food. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
All right, let's move to Diamond Dynasty, which we talked a little bit about earlier as far as what's working in MLB The Show 16 right now. So MLB The Show 17 is listed as having events, which would be new, seasons, which would be new, programs, which would be new, right? Missions 2.0, which would be a second version of the missions they introduced this last year, new legend and flashback cards. TJ, what did you think when you read over this for Diamond Dynasty?
I mean, I'm excited, but it's a lot of just buzzwords that I don't know what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if we just look at them individually, like events could be, they do something weekly, which would be nice. Like Madden has, I always forget the name. Chris, what is the name of that thing? The bottom left on the first screen, or bottom right on the first screen. The objectives.
Oh yeah, the objectives. Yep.
That changed like every week. Those could be events in this. Seasons, we assume, is going from the current leaderboard structure they have to a more Madden and FIFA based, play a couple games.
Yeah, I was going to say, TJ, last year they introduced a few things that were very reminiscent of what you find in the other Ultimate Teams. In particular, it was the Battle Royale, which was basically a takeoff of what you had the previous year in Madden.
Draft.
Yeah, exactly, the draft modes. So it wouldn't be a surprise if they modeled some of these new things off what you're finding in Madden or FIFA especially.
Well, one of the cool things with events, they could make card-specific events that makes lower-end cards more important. A lot of the things going on right now in the community are tournaments that are bronze only, or you can only have a certain amount of golds. They could have events where you have to schedule, you have to put your team together for very specific things. I think that'd be really awesome and make more value to some of the lower cards and keep that going longer.
Yeah, FIFA's had something like that where they'd have like online tournaments where you would need, 6 cards from one league and 3 from another, and 7 of the guys have to be from the same country. Stuff like that. It'd be very interesting to see MLB do that, especially with stuff like the World Baseball Classic coming up. If there's an event where it's like, have your Diamond Dynasty team be all Dominican players, and then you get to go play online using them somehow, would be very interesting.
So there's nothing there about, of course it could follow, but there's nothing there like Conquest 2.0. Conquest was the main way to play the computer within Diamond Dynasty. In Madden you have all the solo challenges, in FIFA their own challenges, these different ways to where you could almost play solely against the computer within the mode and build your team that way.
Some would say it was the only way to play Diamond Dynasty in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
many problems with servers.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you could even load the game, yeah. So I wonder if some of these things are either taking the place of Conquest as far as or supplementing it, but I would hope that there'd be something more to Conquest this year. Don't you think?
Yeah, I actually believe in. Was it on OS or was it in Twitter? I believe Ramon did confirm that Conquest and Battle Royale will be back. Mm-hmm. So those will still be there. I do hope they add some stuff to them a little bit.
Millennium, how did you feel about the number of cards, the variety in the cards, and what would you like to see this year that's different?
Number of cards by the end of the year was very good. I think with the way Diamond Dynasty is built, with the live series cards changing ratings, I think they're limited on how many cards they can put out early, specifically because you have to keep those values up for the live series cards as long as you can. And again, we've always talked about card collecting modes becoming a little overwhelming. They can't release a ton of legends or a ton of flashbacks in the first 2 or 3 months. And then, again, the live series cards either don't mean anything or you just don't know what to go after. So I think card variety by the end was good. I'd like to see a more evenly distributed card variety. I think the Blue Jays didn't have enough cards. The Cubs, was it the Cubs that didn't have enough flashbacks as well? Or another team?
The Blue Jays were the one that had like 7. Which was less than everybody else.
And I'd like to see that just for, I despise the Blue Jays as much as the next Orioles fan, but for fans of the Blue Jays or fans of those teams, I think that should be more evenly distributed.
I was thinking that maybe programs might be, like new card programs. I don't know what the search term is that they use in the market for the stuff like same faces, different places, and all the different flashbacks and stuff.
So I'm wondering if a different theme. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if programs might be like, how they had the like monthly player of the month packs. Maybe there'll be special versions of those cards and stuff. Maybe that's what they mean by programs. Maybe we see some more stuff like that coming out.
TJ, did what do you think? Because they've been introducing more, like you guys talked about earlier, of these missions, even after the season ended. Do you feel like these are worthwhile to play through? Because you explain what the mission is, TJ, what you are supposed to do, what you get for doing it, and whether that's turned out to be kind of a valuable way to play through and gain new cards.
So there's a bunch of different types of missions. There's, of course, the ones where it's like collect 25 players of a team, or collect all the team cards to get certain cards. Like, what was it? Like the Tampa Bay Rays was like you get 25 of them, and you get like the
Carl
rookie
Crawford.
flashback. Was it Carl Crawford, or was he the 40 man?
He was the 40 man. I think Casimir was the 25.
Yeah, Casimir was the 25.
Yeah, that's how I got Ichiro was a mission. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Ichiro was after you beat the Mariners in Conquest and took all their places, and then played a couple hundred innings with Mariners players.
That's right, yeah.
You got Ichiro.
Yeah, the statistical ones, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they got statistical ones where it's like get complete games and wins and stolen bases and hits and everything. We mentioned the collection ones. They also did collection ones with like new cards that came out. There'd be stuff like get all the new equipment and get a nice card, stuff like that. But the stuff that's come out more recently, throughout the year when the rookie cards of some players came out, they would have missions to like go from the rookie card to either the live version or some sort of prime version of them. What was it? I think the rookie Joe Mauer needed, was it 115 hits or something to become the prime version?
Yes.
But recently they've been doing ones, they've been calling them player stat missions. They'll give you, I think each week they were putting out like 10 specific cards that you do, or not, there would be 10 missions that you would use specific cards to do things like get 5 steals with a prime flashback Ryan Braun, and you'd get a pack that came out during the year, or get 15 hits with live Mike Trout and you'd get some XP and some coins. That stuff's been really nice. The only thing is that's all been like post-season stuff that's come out. I think that would be much more interesting to see during the season, just because maybe that would get people to switch up their teams a little bit more while they're playing. They'll be like, hey, I have this Seattle Prime A-Rod, let me hit 5 home runs, get some stubs, get some XP, and build things that way.
Millennium, did you feel like we had a good enough variety in the lineups you saw from teams, that people mixed it up or had reason to mix it up enough this year? I know it was for the first few months, absolutely. You saw a great variety in the lineups, but by the end of the year, did that lessen to an extent?
Like right now, yes. Right now, it's pretty much, I mean, you'll see different pitching lineups, some different bullpens, but I think it's widely known that Troy Tulowitzki is the best shortstop in the game, although you're seeing a lot of Alex Rodriguez because he had a mission that they gave you the rookie, so they give you a rookie to a 99 Alex Rodriguez. But again, that came out in, what was it, December? So they started not giving away, but giving you opportunities to earn high-end cards. I don't think you see the exact same, but I think you see the same, like 3 or 4 guys rotated through each position at this point.
Yeah, if I may just chime in.
Go for it.
Yeah, during the season, it was rotating a lot more. Again, because we had the inside edge, it was like Daniel Murphy was jumping up, being better than some of the prime flashback second baseman and stuff. So when that was happening, you were still seeing a lot more stuff, just because on a day-to-day basis, you might be changing your second baseman or any of the positions and stuff.
Okay, next on the list, it's what they refer to as the little things. There's only a few mentions here. One of them is new uniform sets, which is something that I even had to bring up in my review of the game last year. There's really no excuses not to have all the uniforms in, no matter what they say. It's the only game that hasn't had pretty much every uniform for every team. There's some really prominent ones. Like for me as a Mariners fan, not having the uniform they wear every Sunday at home is pretty disappointing. And then you had like the Blue Jays who had on the cover their red jersey, but the red was not actually in the game. They also mention a universal profile overhaul and new brands. Those new brands probably apply to Road to the Show and Diamond Dynasty, all the equipment and that everything of that nature. Millennium.
Yeah, I think we saw New Balance was like a guaranteed new brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one new one. Millennium, what do you think about what they've listed out here?
Well, new uniform sets, as you said, I think every team deserves to have every normal jersey and some decent flashbacks. Although I'd also like to see that new uniform set mean that Diamond Dynasty gets an opportunity. Yeah, that's what I mean. Gets an opportunity to wear those, because you see so many guys. It's not fair to some people who aren't good at designing jerseys, where they're wearing these white pinstripes. Everyone has got white pinstripes with one of the default decals on them. So maybe bring those uniforms into Diamond Dynasty. I'd like to see that.
Or you give us an easier way to design the uniforms.
Like again, I'll go right back to it. NBA 2K, where you can upload logos.
Yeah, exactly.
Universal profile. I think they're going to separate offline and online a little bit. I think one of the nice things about MLB The Show that I don't think a lot of other games do, again, outside of 2K, is that you can play offline in the show and gain stubs that you can use online. So maybe that's getting more of a how you play the game profile. Like what pitches to use in certain situations, almost like a scouting report. I'd like to see that. And as TJ said, we saw New Balance already. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple more brands. Personally, I'd like to see Nakona in there as a glove, because that's a pretty popular glove in MLB. Or even there's one other one that everyone keeps talking about that is not in yet, and it's slipping my mind right now. But everyone has a personal brand. There's a couple of prominent brands in MLB that aren't represented in the show that I'm sure we'll see this year.
They got Reebok in there?
No, I don't think so. Maybe Reebok is the next one though, too. Yeah.
Let me get a Reebok glove and Josh Beckett flashbacks, and I'll be happy.
That's all you need, huh?
I literally have the Josh Beckett model baseball glove, because I was like, that glove's legit, Josh Beckett's legit, and it took me like 3 years to find it, and then I got it. I was very excited.
Okay.
Get it in the game.
All right, so we got next is something that could be big, because this is an area of the game that's been a little shaky over the years, at least in terms of commentary, but presentation. And so they tease a new presentation package. They don't tell us what it's based off of, but we have our theories. There's also the show presents show track, and then there's reference to, and we don't know the names, but it looks like two different people who quote unquote joined the booth. So they're not completely rebooting commentary, but it looks like we're gonna get some new personalities in the booth. TJ, I'd like to hear your theories now.
If the asterisks astricize, if the asterisks, I don't know, what's the plural of asterisks?
Asterisks. It's just with an S at the end, yeah.
Like Jedis.
Yes, Jedi is just Jedi.
If the asterisks are to be believed, the common thought, and by that I mean I think I figured it out, is that it's going to be MLB Network presentation package, which should be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing like what's that? What do they call it? The ballpark cam. Maybe we see that in a loading screen or something. That'd be interesting. I mean, that's just a little something that I can A through, which is usually what one of these shows will be about, or X through. Sorry, PlayStation fans. And then for the commentary, I searched the MLB Network personalities list, and the only ones that match up with those letters are Lauren Shahadi and Dan O'Dowd. So that would be interesting. One is a Lauren Shahadi is a MLB Network host and reporter, and Dan O'Dowd is a studio analyst. And since they're saying that it's just join the booth, not like taking over the booth, I could see them just chiming in to do the, hey, this guy, pulled a muscle last inning and now he's doing this, or this guy's warming up in the bullpen and he's looking good, or, the stuff people chime in during MLB play to to say.
My fantasy would be that we got the MLB whip around of some sort in a presentation package, whether that applied to franchise mode or something else, where it would cut in, or you would be able to see highlights from around the league or as the games are happening or whatever. I don't know how that would be integrated in here, but I love that kind of thing. Millennium, presentation and commentary. What do you think is going to come out of this?
Well, show track for me is the one that stands out just because it's going to include StatCast. I think we saw that where we're going to see exit velos and stuff like that, or upgraded presentation packages for that. TJ's spot on. If that's not MLB Network presentation package, I don't know what is. They've already got MLB Network signage in the game.
Hey, as long as it's not TBS.
Oh, jeez, no.
Everybody
man.
could not stand.
Does Ron
TBS.
Darling fit in those letters? No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the pitch tracker in TBS was oh, wait. It wasn't there. There was no pitch count on the pitch tracker, and they fixed it like 3 games into the World Series. So, again, the 2 people that are joining the booth, I think we all would say that they're probably not going to join in a commentary fashion. They're going to join in a sideline fashion, as TJ said. But I'm with you. I just got done playing NCAA football, and one of the cool things that's still in that game is they did cutaways to scores.
Yeah.
I don't think any other game does that still. Why not? Like, what happens if Adrian Beltre gets to 3,000 hits this year? It's probably going to happen. I would love to see a cutaway of Adrian Beltre hitting just a hit. Wow. It doesn't even have to be like it doesn't have to be randomly generated. Just give me some, like we got in, oh God, I'm going to say it, NFL 2K, where you get like this cutaway of just this random play happening of Adrian Beltre getting a hit, and they talk about 3,000 hits as a milestone, even if he's not in my game.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome to have those kind of cutaways. And it makes sense if Dan O'Dowd is the guy, because as TJ said, he's a studio guy, not a sideline or bullpen guy. So
yeah, another way potentially in Road to the Show to kind of add that personal touch as far as identifying your particular player and standing out in as far as how they refer to him in the commentary or your milestones as you go. Any further thoughts, TJ? Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned the Road to the Show thing, because I didn't think of it until now. Because I was thinking in this presentation thing, I was trying to think like, what do you see in a real game that the game doesn't represent? But you just hit me with this Road to the Show thing. Mm-hmm. When you're watching a game, they'll always have like that, like an interview with the manager or something. Like
after the inning.
Yeah, or like in like the 4th inning when the manager really doesn't have to do anything, or they'll get like a player to talk for a minute. Would be kind of interesting if, how we saw when they released that first trailer, the first thing was like the manager coming up and asking you something. It would be kind of cool if part of the presentation package was like during your Road to the Show, like in the middle of a game, you'll be asked a question. Yeah. And you give an answer and, boost your popularity or something. Or you can work on your GPA or something. Just give me something more from the old NCAA football Road to Glory stuff.
Yeah. Franchise mode, then. Let's talk a little bit about franchise mode. This is a very steady franchise mode because it hasn't changed very much over the years. They continue to add layers to it, but it's not anything that's been dramatic. This year, they're identifying a few improvements here called Launchpad. There's also Front Office, and then there's Player Quirks. And the one that I think we could obviously guess what it is Player Quirks. They're going to add some personality to the players, which, again, maybe going back to that humanity AI earlier, might tie in with that. Or it might just have to do with off the field, dealing with them as a GM, and maybe not so much as, during gameplay. Millennium, franchise, what do you see here with what they're going to get into?
Launchpad, my hope, is NBA 2K's franchise launch, where you could start it from any point in the season. Yeah. They already have MLB Live. They already have that kind of stuff built into it. So being able to start in a 162 game season, being able to start at any point would be clutch for this game. When it comes to Front Office, one of the big requests from franchise players has been allowing us to get back into the financial side. Setting the prices on things, getting into more extensive contracts, being able to backload contracts on our own, doing that kind of stuff. So hopefully that kind of thing is in front office again. And player quirks, who doesn't want to see? Remember when Nomar Garciaparra's walk-up included his little wrist doing the batting glove numerous times? That's still in the game. I'd love to see it in, like, the field too, like guys that wear their glasses up and then put them down in the middle of in the play to catch a pop-up at shortstop.
I want crooked hats.
Yes, Fernando Rodney.
Exactly.
Well, I think doesn't Fernando Rodney have it?
I don't.
But
think
you can't give it to players.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I know he didn't when he was on the Mariners because it used to bother me that it was just flat brim straight ahead. But
you know what it is. You're right.
That. Yeah.
No, you're right. It is flat brim straight ahead. So yeah, like you said, stuff like that. I'd love to see just little personality quirks built into players that not only affect on the field, but because it's under franchise, affect trying to re-sign them or locker room chemistry, because they started chemistry last year with player roles. This year, give me those player quirks, like if you don't give me one day off, I don't play on Sundays or something like that. Just something weird like that would be cool.
Yeah. TJ, any more thoughts on franchise here?
No, but I do like that idea of the franchise launch pad.
Yeah. That's
just starting like middle of the season and be like, all right, this team's 5 games back, even if it's just for like a single year thing. Well, I guess that wouldn't be franchise. That would be like a new mode. That's a season mode. But if I was like a team that's 5 games back, and I could be like, all right, I'm gonna take this team right now, see if I can make the playoffs, and do what I can there. That'd be kind of cool.
You know, the one other thing that would be really nice out of that launch pad, online franchise being full-fledged like offline.
I was about to say,
sorry,
no mention of it here, but you would hope that all the features from offline would transfer online, which they didn't do last year.
Well, I think this entire podcast, I think, has been begging for that from all games.
Yeah.
For as long as we can. So, fingers crossed.
Also, nothing about like relocation and stuff, which is kind of.
Yeah, that would probably be the type of feature they would throw here. In this kind of wide overview that they've given us.
I want to move a team to New Jersey. Let's make it happen. Though, because of whatever that 90-mile rule is, I don't think you can actually put a team in New Jersey without the Mets, Yankees, and Phillies all signing off. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
We're never getting that.
It's a fantasy, whatever.
Yeah.
Road to the Show, the other kind of major mode in the game. This is it's similar. It's similar to franchise. It hasn't changed much over the years, but this is probably the mode where people feel like it needs something new, even more. And it looks like they're doing that. Again, we don't know the extent to which they are, but they have something called Pave Your Path. And we saw in the first trailer the first indication of what that is with, as you mentioned, TJ, manager coming up and asking you a question, and probably your response to that question is going to influence something down the line or immediately. Mentioned here is, again, Pave Your Path, improvements to player models, revamp to create a player. Millennium, what do you think about what we might be seeing with Road to the Show here?
I'd love to see that create a player revamp include face scanning of some way. I don't know how realistic of a request that would be, but other games have it. They don't always work as well as they should, but I'd love to see that player model improvements. Again, just making a more realistic player model. I think they're stuck to just like buff or thin. I like to see different, leg size, arm size, being able to customize a lot more of that. And Pave Your Path sounds really awesome, because what they started last year was milestones got their own cutscenes, and it started giving you the feeling of, I have a reason to keep playing this other than what guys like Owen do, or like I do, where we're making up our own backstories in our head. It's actually giving us a story to start pushing for, or giving us the building blocks of that.
Yeah, I wonder how they will reconcile with the ability to bring your save over from last year, with the ability to with the year-to-year saves, take what you had been playing, for several seasons or whatever it might be in MLB 16, and how that's going to work, or if it will work with a year-to-year save, with them introducing kind of a new story element or personality influencer into the mode. It's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do with that, or what direction they go with that. TJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of look like the default player, so it's all right for me there. Yeah, I would definitely like to see. I always feel like all these creative players are just like way too hard to get a face to look right. I think it was like MLB 13. I was like, I have this mirror next to me. Let me spend a long time wasting my time because I'm never going to get this guy to actually look like me. So I would love to see some sort of facial scan technology, though. I feel like that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. We've had real mixed results on the facial scanning apps that 2K has done and that NBA Live did. Mixed results, works for some people, doesn't work for other people. Sony with their camera has the potential to do something here with face scanning, even if it's just with the camera and not with a phone. But
they even have the PlayStation app, so I mean, there's options there. But
yeah,
I would also, I would be interested in if Pave Your Path, rather than being like some long drawn out thing through your career, what if Pave Your Path was kind of like the big moments thing, like the play big moments in Madden, where I feel like there's two kinds of people that play Road to the Show. There's the guys that play every single inning of every game, and there's the guys that skip around a ton. I don't know how big the middle gap is there, but if there was like a set way that you could get through a year fairly quickly, so you can get through your career, because my favorite of these career modes, single player career modes, has always been the Road to Glory stuff in NCAA, because it was like you have 4 seasons, you start and you're done, and then you can do that quickly. You can bring them to Madden, but I'm not going to go bring my guy into Madden and play 25 years. I don't think I've gotten past like year 6 of a guy in Road to the Show, because I'm the kind of guy that wants to play all the time. That's why I don't even do batter ones anymore, because I'm like, I'm not going to sit through 600 at bats or 700 at bats with a guy. Yeah. I'll do a starting pitcher and get through 35 starts a year for a couple years, and then I just get burnt out.
That's a good point.
So if the path to glory is something to like get you further down your career in a shorter amount of time, even if you're not going to be playing every game, that would be something that would interest me.
I like that idea, and I'm with you on that, TJ, because that's why I play as a relief pitcher. I don't want to, especially I don't want to deal with defense. I don't want to all those at bats. It just becomes a slog. It's too much of the same thing over and over for me personally. And I like to get through the games, get through, advance, see your career advance a little faster. So that's an interesting idea there, TJ. I would like that for if that was what Pave Your Path was going for. Finally, we have graphics, which if we're looking at one area of the show that probably doesn't necessarily need a whole lot of improvement, it's graphics, which looked fantastic last year, and they added, they enhanced it even further. So this year, they mentioned lighting. They mention lighting every year, though. Grass tech, so improvements to the grass. There's something they call the new head rig, which we'll get into. And then classic stadiums. We know there are a few new classic stadiums this year. Millennium, I believe you had some insight on what the head rig was referring to.
Well, yeah, a user on OS by the name of, I'm going to give him the credit that he deserves because he's the one that found it, Zfarow, Zfarow, went Google searching for what head rig was, and apparently it's actually a licensed thing called it's actually called head rig, where it's facial animations for the eyebrows, the nose, the entire face in different ways. So what would be exciting for me is going right along with what seems to be a ongoing storyline through this entire Twitch schedule. Humanity AI, player quirks, head rig. We're going to get more emotion out of this game.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple different themes in here, and the one for gameplay seems to be Fielding looks like they're going a whole, like, all in on with what they're describing. The other thing looks like they're going to bring emotion to baseball, which, again, they did a little bit last year. You see a fist pump once in a while, but it seems like an afterthought a lot of times when you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
I just love to see them bring that emotion into that. And this graphical improvements deep dive with that head rig technology, there's actually a demo for it as well, like a minute demo reel of what it can do. That's something I think this game misses on a normal basis. That, again, and I've said it before, NBA 2K does really well. The other thing that I didn't see on here, and I know they're going to talk about it at some point, there's no mention of the PS4 Pro here.
Huh. That's a good point.
And being first party, you'd have to think that they brought PS4 Pro technology into this. Well, I'm hoping they did.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know if they want to alienate people and say, hey, look, here's the better version, right? When they're promoting the game, they probably don't want to do that. Maybe at some point they will, but that might be the wrong direction to take early on. The other thing, as you mentioned, what's not here, there's no mention of VR.
I was just going to say that, yeah. And we've seen MLB The Show, I feel like, has always been like one of the leaders of the stuff they're adding, be it home run derby with the move. And they do anything with the camera? No, right?
I don't think so, actually.
But they do have stuff like they have the in Road to the Show, you hear your teammates yelling stuff at you
through the controller.
Oh, yeah.
They added that, and that was like the scariest thing to realize, and also the most awesome thing to realize when you hear a guy like cheering you on from the bench when you're playing.
Yeah. TJ, anything on graphics here?
I mean, they just say it's graphical improvements, but is there any difference where you play, like depending on what grass you're playing on currently in the game? Like I before,
as far as like affecting your speed.
Yeah, or like the turf. Like I know in Toronto before they changed the
the infield. Yeah.
I mean, this just says graphical improvements, but I wonder if I don't know if it exists in the game or if they would even put the time into you put in like different grass physics. You know, if you hit a ball.
Great. That's what we're getting to now. Grass physics.
Yeah, but you gotta give it a way cooler name.
Well, we laugh at that though, but one of the biggest issues they had in past iterations of the game was when you hit a fly ball and it bounced on the grass, it bounced as high as it would as what David was doing, like off the turf. Yeah, so I think they implemented that to a point, but I think new ball physics will take that. I think that's being implemented as well in new ball physics.
Yeah, TJ, one final thing. There was some clarification on pre-order bonuses. Do you have the details on that?
I mean, I'm gonna let Millennium handle that part.
Okay, go for it.
So we, in a lot of the digital deluxe packs, there was talk of gold season starter pack, or a diamond Caesar starter pack. At first, we were told that it could be a piece of equipment. But now it says that for the Gold Season Starter Pack contents, it includes one item for a mission starter that leads to a gold player. The same thing with the Diamond Season Starter Pack. Again, these are all in the different pre-orders, so I'm using the actual wording from that. So we've been told that the gold player and the diamond player that are going to come out of these packs are the same player for everybody. So everybody's going to get the same diamond player out of these. So if you're getting them in an effort to sell them, don't, because they're not going to be worth much. If you can sell them at all, they may be no sell. The sponsor packs include 5 pieces of equipment to use in Road to the Show or on your Dynasty player in Diamond Dynasty, which will be back. You will get your one Diamond Dynasty player. It will also include 3 franchise sponsorships for you franchise guys like me. Digital Deluxe packs include 4 players, a guaranteed live series gold player, and a guaranteed flashback. Now, we haven't been clarified on those, but we think that those are random draws. Live series gold and guaranteed flashback. And then standard packs are normal, 8 total items, 6 players, and 2 items, which are either equipment or sponsorship.
And also, I believe if you pre-order digitally, You'll also get an extra 10,000 stubs in MLB 16.
Which can't be worth very much anymore with the way the market has come down, right?
The market kind of bounced back up kind of high during like Christmas time because they had a 50% off sale on stubs. And so a lot of cards kind of skyrocketed in price, and not all of them have come back down, but most of them have. But I mean, a lot of people did get the game for Christmas and stuff, so maybe they're like, hey, I really like this game. Let me pre-order the next one, and
hey, why not?
I can get a little something then.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. All right, well, that was fun. It's exciting to start talking about something tangible as far as an upcoming game, because it's been a while since we've been able to do that. We will be back talking more about this as each real area of the game is revealed further and gone into greater detail. I'm sure we'll have more Press Row podcasts. I'm sure, TJ, every Monday night on your Bullpen Banter going forward, you're going to be talking about the news, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say subscribe to twitch.tv/thatsportsgamer and youtube.com/thatsportsgamer, depending on what your video thing is of choice. We stream on both, but I think because of how they have the stuff spaced out, we're probably not going to stream Mondays. Maybe we'll either stream like the night some of the stuff comes out, or maybe the day after. Yeah. Just so that it's not like, something we've streamed on Monday and stuff came out on Tuesday, and we don't have to wait a whole week to cover it. So.
Yeah, so we'll have a new schedule. Maybe I'll even show up on Bullpen Banter, TJ.
I don't know. Maybe I won't invite you. So
I'll have to see if you extend an invite.
Yeah, you're definitely more than welcome whenever you'd like to come.
It'll be fun. Millennium, anything you want to plug here at the end?
Hi. No, nothing. I'm good. Just obviously Operation Sports. Ramon's on there actually right now, putting trolling gifs to people's ideas because he can't really say anything. I do stream on twitch.tv/Operation Sports if you guys want to check it out. So other than that, just always fun being honest with you guys.
All right. Well, thanks, fellas, for coming on. Talk some MLB The Show 17. That was fun. We will be back next week with another edition of the Press Row podcast. Thank you to everyone out there who tuned in, and hope you'll be back for the next one. Take care.